All right, I think we've got, I see Coach Smart there. Coach Fickell, are you on? And can you go ahead and start your video and unmute your line, please? Thanks, Coach. And then Gary, same for you. All right, well, we've got everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Selection Sunday press conference 2020 Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. This time we welcome head coach Kirby Smart of the 9th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, head coach Luke Fickell of the 8th-ranked Cincinnati Bearcats, and Gary Stokin, CEO and president of Peach Bowl, Inc. Gary, we'll start with you if you want to just make a couple of welcoming remarks from the bowl, please.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I'm just really impressed that Kirby and Luke are so technologically advanced on Zoom calls that they can have the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl background. Pretty good.
You know, we didn't do that by ourselves.
I
got a lot of
think
good help,
so.
I'm sure.
Neither did I. But hey, I want to welcome everybody and wish everybody a very holy, blessed, and healthy Christmas this year. And congratulate the coaches of both Cincinnati and Georgia on behalf of our board of trustees, the best staff in the bowl business, and the best volunteers in the bowl business as well. We have over 700 people that normally get involved in the bowl. Unfortunately, with a scaled down experience this year, we'll have a little less than that, but we all welcome you. We all congratulate you on a great season. And in particular, I also want to congratulate the medical staffs, the trainers, all the players. I know we were attempting to put on 3 Chick-fil-A kickoff games to start this season, and I know that all the information and protocols that went into all the planning for those games that had to be canceled. But for these coaches and these medical trainers and staffs, as well as the players, the sacrifices and all they had to do to comply with COVID-19 pandemic protocols to get all the games in that they got in is just remarkable. So congratulations to all the players and staffs and medical people at the 2 universities. We look forward to kicking off a wonderful January 1st at noon on New Year's Day, leading into the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl semifinals of the CFP. Number 8 Cincinnati against number 9 Georgia in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're honored to have these 2 coaches and these 2 teams, 2 of the best defenses in the country, top defenses on both sides, and what I think is 2 of the hottest quarterbacks in the country with Desmond Ridder and JT Daniels. We know that this is going to be a game that's going to be highly attended. We will have a capacity of 25% in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's approximately about 18,000 seats that will be available. They will be seated in pods of 2 and 4. Everybody will be obligated to wear masks. And if they don't have a mask, we will provide one. And we'll control social distancing as well. The field will be very clean, limited access to the field with no presentations. And our goal is to have the safest environment we can for the coaching staffs, the trainers, the medical people, and the players, as well as the media. So we look forward to hosting Cincinnati, which is representing the Group of 5 champion, highest ranked, against the Georgia Bulldogs, representing the SEC. The Group of 5 is 2-0 in our games. Houston has beaten Florida State from the ACC, and UCF beat Auburn from the SEC in the past. So we're looking forward to a great game. We welcome you, coaches. Anything we can do for you, your families, your staffs, and mainly your players. Look at our bowl game as a reward for the players. So we want to make sure, even in a scaled down bowl week, that we take care of the players first. So again, congratulations, and look forward to hosting you guys.
All right, thank you, Gary. After comments from the head coaches, we'll go directly into questions from the media. Again, please make sure that your viewer is labeled with your name and outlet, and that you use the raise hand feature At that point, you'll be prompted to unmute yourself and ask your question. Please state your name and affiliation. All right, we'll open up. Coach Smart, we'll go ahead and take an opening statement from you representing the Georgia Bulldogs.
Thanks, Matt. It's an honor to be here, Gary. I've had the great fortune to be around Gary for a long time, and everything that he says about the Peach Bowl, Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl, is incredibly true. I've got the great fortune in the early stages, a long time ago, to get to play in that bowl game as a player, and Gary has taken that bowl game to new heights, and it's in a different place than we played in it. We played in it. It wasn't near as prestigious as it is now, and I know our guys are excited to get another opportunity to play. We got this last one taken away from us. So our opportunity to play another game against a top 10 opponent fires us up. I've got a lot of respect for Luke. I always have. I followed his coaching career. He's done a tremendous job. Shared a lot of stories about him with Urban Meyer, who's said a lot of great things about Luke. And he's been a tremendous coach and somebody that I got a lot of respect for. Their program's done a tremendous job. I was just meeting and speaking to our team, and since 2018, their record is one of the top 5 in all of college football. And that immediately grabs the attention of our players, because we feel like we've had a good program over the last 3 to 4 years as well. So the history of both programs speaks for itself, and both teams will be fired up to get an opportunity to play on January 1st.
All right. Thank you, Coach. All right. Coach Fickell, go ahead with your opening comment, please.
Well, thank you, Matt. I, too, am really excited. I think our team will be. We haven't had an opportunity to actually get together with them. That'll be tomorrow. Obviously, Kirby and them have already had a chance to get together, maybe even talk a little bit about the bowl. As for us, it was a late night last night, finishing up a tough win. And, so today we're kind of trying to settle in here to figure out what it is we're doing. But I know our guys are incredibly excited. Make sure, and everybody understands, there is no disappointment over here. We are incredibly happy, excited to be where we are right now, to have a championship, but now to have an incredible challenge with obviously the Georgia Bulldogs and Coach Smart. I've been fortunate enough to play in a lot of bowl games and then coaching a bunch of bowl games. This is one that I've never had an opportunity to be a part of. And so I'm excited. I got a little concerned, though, when you said the 25% and they're going to be in groups of 2 or 3. I got a family of quite a bit more. I got 6 kids. I'm not sure my wife's going to be real excited if I have to separate them. So I'm sure we can work some of those things out. But nonetheless, I know our kids are excited. Our families are going to be really excited to actually be able to go and to enjoy an atmosphere, not to mention an incredible team that we're playing from the SEC. But I know that our kids are really going to be fired up and know that this is an incredible challenge for us and our entire program.
All right. Appreciate that, Coach. Thank you very much. All right. We're now open to questions from the media. Again, please click the raised hand. We'll get you selected, and we will start with Steve Help from SB Nation. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, Luke. After completing an undefeated season and last night after the ceremony saying that you deserve to be considered for the playoff, I know you said there was no disappointment today, but is there any maybe cynicism after UCF won 25 straight games in 2017 and 18, and you finished undefeated in the AAC and your conference cannot secure a bid?
No, I think, first of all, I think it's disappointing, but it's not, I'm not disappointed. And I know our kids are not disappointed. And disappointing meaning just the sheer fact, yeah, you would love an opportunity and a shot at the title. So would Georgia, so would Texas A&M. But the reality is, there's only 4 that are going to get that opportunity, and we don't happen to be one of them. So we got to look at it and say we're really excited about what it is that we had. I'm not overly worried about what happened with UCF and all that. Those are things that are outside of our control. And you say what you say right after the game because you want the best for your kids and you want your kids to have every opportunity they've worked for. But this is going to be an incredible opportunity, an incredible challenge for us, and I think that's what our kids thrive on and enjoy the most.
All right, we'll take our next question from Andrea Adelson from ESPN.
Luke, along those lines, do you feel like this is an opportunity for your team and your players to make a statement in this game?
Well, I'm probably no different than Kirby. Every week is an opportunity for us to make a statement. The great thing about college football is it's unlike pro football. It's unlike, basketball that has a tournament. Every week means so much. And most of us can't make any slip ups and still have an opportunity to get to the ultimate goal. And the reality is, we didn't get an opportunity. Georgia doesn't get that opportunity to maybe play for a true championship. But we've got an opportunity for all of us and both of us to make a statement. And because this really takes you into that next phase of your program and how you continue to grow your program, and positive energy and momentum is what grows a program. That's why we've had the success we've had in the last few years. We've been fortunate enough to play well at the end of the year, go to bowl games, win, and just carry that momentum on to the next year. So I think for both of us in both programs, I think it's huge, and not just making statements, but really building momentum going into the offseason.
All right, we'll take our next question from Chris Vanini.
Hey, Luke, popped on late, so I'm sorry if this was already asked, but you guys are, I think, top 3 in one of the weird formulas that technically determines a national champion, the one that UCF used a couple years ago. Do you guys have any interest or would you think at all about, believing you should be national champions if you win this game?
We all do things that try to promote our programs. And if it helps in recruiting, there's a lot of things that all of us will do. So I know that we played at UCF this year and saw that posted along their press box, and nobody would take it away. When I was in school, we used to go to Penn State, and they would have on the front of their stadium, I think they were the New York Times national champions of some point. I know this, that we all promote our programs. We all want what's best for our programs. Recruiting is a huge part of it. We're going to use this just like Georgia will use this as positive momentum, whether it's for our kids now or for our program for the future.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
All right. Next question will be from Dan Mathews from 680 The Fan.
Coach Smart, obviously very disappointed to not have the game this past weekend in Athens, but is this kind of gratifying to get this opportunity in an area that means so much to your program?
Yeah, I'm super excited for it to be in Atlanta. A lot of our seniors didn't get an opportunity to have a final home game. Ended up with only 3 home games throughout the year and didn't get the kind of final wave and send off. So they'll get an opportunity to play in front of a lot of them's parents and families and fans, and hope that their approach is the right way about the game, because anytime you got seniors involved in a bowl game, that's always a concern for you. But our guys have handled it well up until this point, and I'm excited to see them go play. This is the last opportunity this team will have to be together.
Thank you.
All right, next question we'll take from Mike Griffith.
Kirby, can you talk a little bit about your defense? I know you haven't technically said anything about who's in, who's out. You've asked us not to ask, but there could be a few guys out. Last year, I think you played without 11 or 12 starters. I guess just your thoughts on trying to get what looks like it'll be a pretty young defense revved up for a pretty good Cincinnati quarterback.
Yeah, I don't completely know the answer to that yet. It's still, we don't know exactly who's going to be in and who's out. There's still water to go under the bridge in terms of kids making decisions. And, we've got several seniors with the draft prospects. We've got several juniors that are draft prospects that are having to make decisions. And one thing I've encouraged them to do is be thorough, get good information, and try to make the best decision, but in a timely manner where we can prepare and get ourselves ready. And we want to start, getting ready as soon as we can for Cincinnati. And seeing them play last night let me know right away that we got a lot of preparation to do to get ready. So I don't know who will be in and who will be out yet, but the guys that are out there are the ones we're going to coach and go get ready to play.
All right, we'll take our next question from Brandon Sehow. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, Coach. I'm not going to ask about the ranking. I've asked enough about that with you this week. Just this opportunity, you mentioned it a little bit of how big it is for your program. UC's been to 2 New Year's Six Bowls before, Orange Bowl and Sugar Bowl, haven't won them. To go is one thing, but to be competitive and even win the game, how big is that for the momentum of this program and maybe being a measuring stick to where you are with those, blue bloods that you always talk about?
That's huge for our program, and not just it's measuring stick. I think what you said is exactly right. And if you want to claim that you should have an opportunity, you should have a shot. Well, this is an opportunity. This is a shot. And I think I told our guys afterwards in the locker room, I said, yeah, I'll say some things, tonight just to try to make sure that we, whatever's out there, that if we got a shot at it, we want that opportunity, but know that by doing that, and we put ourselves in a position that no matter what the situation, we're going to play a really, really good football team. And when you say things like that and you put yourself out there like that, means you got to turn around and put it up, and so you say those things and you got to go play the game. And, and that's the big part of it. So it's exciting for those guys, for all of us, but it's a huge measuring stick for me and what we're trying to build here.
All right, we'll take our next question from Seth Emerson. Go ahead, Seth.
Kirby, this is a first bowl. I guess motivation is always a question in situations like this. This is your first bowl since year one that you're not coming off an SEC championship appearance. Is there any analogy there in terms of this is an important period going into next year, both in the preparation and in the actual bowl performance?
I think along the lines that Luke mentioned, it's always critical to continue building success. And, we've had success in bowls and we've had failure in bowl. We lost a Sugar Bowl and we won a Sugar Bowl. And those two things both stick out in my mind as the approach that each team took to those games. And it was so important to so many in terms of the Baylor Sugar Bowl and the way the kids approached it. And then, for the Texas Sugar Bowl, it wasn't that way. And everybody didn't approach the game the same way. And I think we learned a valuable lesson as a staff that it's not necessarily who you go play with, but what their mindset is when you go play a game in a bowl game. And the fact that we've been, kind of out of it for a while in terms of not being in the SEC championship, that's new territory for us. But we've been dealing with that for the last couple of games. And so you learn that it's important to prepare the right way, regardless. Like when we were preparing for Missouri, nobody expected us to play very well because everybody thought that our head would be in the wrong place. We prepare the same regardless of who the opponent is. And I think that's the way you have to approach it, so that you have a little level of consistency when you get ready to play.
All right, we'll take our next question from Dean Legge from Dog Post.
This is actually for both guys, but Kirby first, I guess. When will y'all start practices, y'all, and how will that sort of maneuver around Christmas?
Yeah, we're working on a plan right now to put into place as far as when we're going to give the players a break. We're not going to stay here and keep them in a tight bubble over the break. I just think that's tough to do. I know some of the playoff teams are doing that, but we'll give the guys probably 3 to 4 day break and do a little prep here before. And then when we come back, we'll have basically a game week type practice. These guys have practiced a long time this year, longer than I ever remember. So we'll have a little bit of prep before, give them off during Christmas, and then come back and have a game week to get ready to go to Atlanta.
Well, I'm glad I got to hear a little bit of that, because I'm the same thing right after this. I'm sitting down to try to draw up a little schedule, and it's kind of tough. After playing last night, we were off for 28 days. We were off for 13 days as a kind of a pause period in there in those last 28. So like Kirby, I think we've had 160 practices or OTAs and practices when that started, even before camp, and played 9 games. So it's a unique situation. How much do you give them off? How much do you send them home? So like everything this year, there's a lot of sacrifices being made, and everybody from the outside says, oh yeah, but they still get to play, and they're making incredible sacrifices. Some of the greatest things that I remember, I'm sure Kirby remembers, about playing the game is hanging out in that locker room and winding down after a game and hanging out with your buddy. And they haven't had the opportunity to do that. So trying to balance giving them some of that time, even to go home and do Christmas, is going to be unique. But we don't have an exact schedule just yet, but it'll be soon.
All right, we're going to try to get in a few more questions here. We'll go next to Chip Towers from the AJC. Go ahead, Chip.
For Kirby, actually for both coaches, I guess it's an amazing dynamic, the group of 5 versus Power 5, and how you approach these bowls. how much do you feel like Kirby first that motivation is the key ingredient, right? And motivation and participation, I guess. And Luke, on your side, it's kind of a little bit more historical and special just to be in this situation, right? So is that almost give you an advantage coming into the game?
I don't really understand what you're asking, Chip.
But, I mean, I think you guys both recognize what the dynamic of this game is.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. When you're a competitor and you go out on the field, your intention is to win the game. That's not going to change between his guys and our guys. That's not the perspective. I mean, every coach will try to build their angle to build it where it gives their guys an edge or a competitive advantage. Whether it's, that's them being ranked ahead of us or us being, I don't know, group of five, power five, all those languages, that's for you guys. My language is football, okay? And they got a good football team, and they haven't been beat, all right? And they beat some really good teams I got a lot of respect for. So, to me, the hardest thing to judge this year is that nobody really played across conference, right? So, if you didn't really play across conference, you really can't judge a lot of things because all you know is your conference. And they played their conference, we played our conference, and most of the conferences stayed apart. Well, the bowl's is an opportunity to go out and play across conferences, and you play for the pride of your conference, the pride of your seniors, pride of your last game. Sometimes it's for the pride of your team the next year. But you build that as a coach however you can to try to create an advantage. But at the end of the day, it takes the leaders on the team to buy into that and it be important to those guys. Coaches, it's always important to us. It's our livelihood. But is it going to be important to the players? And that's the key ingredient.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way for us on both sides. Yeah, you could say that's easier from the outside looking in to say, well, they're going to be motivated because they're whatever that group or P thing that you say that we don't talk about in our program, we don't say on our program. So I don't know anything about those letters or language. Obviously, we know who Georgia is and we know what the SEC is all about. But in this 2020 year, I think everybody has sacrificed so much. And I mean that as players included, that anybody that's playing well at the end of the season has a motivation. I don't care what it is. And it's really easy to see, I think, in this football season, to see anybody that towards the end of that year, this year, the last 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, if they're playing good football, they've got something within their program that's natural motivation. Because of this tough and unique year, you've seen a lot of chinks and a lot of different things. So I would imagine both teams are going to have to continue to sacrifice, have some things, do some decisions to make as individual players like everybody does at the end of the year. But both programs have a lot to play for, and I can see a motivation from both sides.
Exactly what I was asking. Thanks.
All right, we've got time for 2 more. We're going to go first to Zach Klein, and then we'll finish up with Charles Odom.
Hey, Kirby, you might not know this because it was just announced where you're going, but usually the excursions, everything about Bowl Week makes it special, right? I'll never forget you and Sony and Nick on the Tower of Terror, right? When you guys are at the Rose Bowl. But with this era we're in, does that kind of alter your plans, knowing that there's not going to be much going on? Would you even come in maybe the day before and just treat it not as a bowl game, but just an extension of regular season finale, so to speak?
Yeah, I think due to COVID protocol, I think Gary would be the first to tell you it's the safest environment for the players. We want testing protocol to remain as close to the same as possible. So it'll be treated very similar to our road games in the season in terms of traveling over the day before, getting to the hotel, being able to check in, reduce the risk of our guys coming in contact, keep the players safe, the coaches safe, both teams handling that protocol. So it will be treated more like a road game than like a potential bowl game in terms of what the players get to enjoy. I hate that because I know how much Gary and his staff and the people in Atlanta really work and prepare the Peach Bowl to be one of the best. And I hate that Cincinnati's team won't get to enjoy all those things at the Peach Bowl too, because that's one of the rewards of going to a bowl game that has kind of been negated this year due to COVID, but we're also very thankful that we get to have the game.
Kirby, I was just going to ask if you could follow up on what you said about your plan to give the players 2 or 3 day break. As you said, other coaches are trying to impose a sort of quasi bubble around their facilities to keep players safe. You know what numbers are like around the state. what are you telling your guys about those days away from Athens?
Well, I'm actually not talking to them about them right now. Our guys can't handle more than like one thing at a time. So we don't give them a lot of information right now. We're here in Athens. We just finished school. We're getting our grades and things back. So we're focused on football for the next couple of days, and we'll address that before they get to go home and have a break. But we've had little intermittent breaks throughout the year. We've had an off week, 2 cancellations. So we've had these 3 and 4 day pocket windows where we've tested on the back end of it, on the front end of it, and we've been pretty successful. We just got to continue to do that, and the numbers have risen. I mean, we've had more positives in the last probably 2 to 3 weeks than we have all year, but we got to continue to do a good job and educate our players.
All right, we're going to sneak in one final question from Bill Dennison. Go ahead, Bill.
Coach, Coach Smart, can you talk a little bit about maybe your thoughts on Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ridder?
I'd love to talk about him, but my extent is seeing him play last night. Did a tremendous job. I got to see his really emotional interview, which tells me a lot about the kid. When you see that, it gives you goosebumps because it matters so much to him and so much to his team. And to see that kind of a raw emotion after a game like that, a championship game, it makes you know what he's built to, what he's made out of, and kind of the way he's built. But it's hard to say that because I haven't had a lot of chance to watch any tape yet.
Coach Fickell, do you have to get your wife that ring now?
Brought up at 1:30 in the morning when I walked in the door. I said, this might be a good time to take advantage of that. So I don't know what that's going to be, but at some point in time, it's going to cost me, I have a feeling.
All right, that's going to wrap it up, everyone. Coaches, I thank you very much for your time. I apologize we went over a couple of minutes, but I think it was certainly worthwhile. We had a good media attendance. I will also welcome you guys both. We're excited to have both of you. We're looking forward to a heck of a ball game. Can't wait to get you in Atlanta. Hope you guys stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. And that's going to do it for today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.